Hello, and welcome to AI Dungeon 2. In case you are tuning in from the start, that you can find earlier videos have been replicated over on a YouTube channel. This is necessary because Twitch deletes streams after 14 days for anybody who isn't one of their super awesome partners. So things are being copied over there if you want to see this train wreck from the beginning. Today I am doing an Evil Dead setup. As is traditional, I forgot to capture the right window, so that's going to be a moment. Yeah, look at all that shit. There we go. Alright. You are Ash Williams, a clerk who works... a clerk who works at S-Mart. You are taking the weekend off and driving up to a cabin in the woods with several of your friends. You arrive after a long drive far away from civilization. You drive up the dirt path and finally reach the cabin. The cabin is very isolated and looks slightly sinister. The door hangs ajar. It almost looks like a face. You look over at your friends and smile. Here we are. We're going to start this early, huh? I mean, it's always like this at first. Like, it needs to figure this out. Are you sure about this? One of your friends asks. We could get caught. It's fine. Reassure him. Reassure your friend. We don't have a name yet, so could be him, could be her. No one comes out here. This place has been abandoned for years, probably. No one's going to know we were here. You get out of the car and look at your friends. There are 3 of them. Their names are... Are there 3 or 4? It's been a minute. Their names are Brenda, Chris, and John. They're all teenagers. They all seem excited about being here. Okay, nope, get out of here. Brenda is... gonna make it give me some bios. A bit of a gossip, and has been telling dark stories all week. She always goes on and on about how uncool Chris is, how he's super strange, and how he deserves to have dreadful things happen to him. Chris is the goth of the group. He is. Wow, he deserves to have dreadful things happen. That's rough. He's always wearing black and is fascinated by death. He has a skull belt buckle, a black cradle of mortality, what the fuck is that? A cradle of mortality. Is that like a... Never mind. And wears a tray cool cloak. He listens to the macabre and creepy songs about death. Strange. John is the responsible one. He's against you coming up here. He thinks something might happen to you guys, and he's the only one who knows how to defend himself. You haven't seen him for a while. Oh, there he is. He's right behind the others. I'm going to get rid of this. John was in the army. You know? And then there's you. Ash Williams. You're... Yeah, tell me about myself. Who am I? You're just here for the fun. If anything goes wrong, you're the one who will have to save everyone else. So John, how are we doing this? It's your place, you call over to him, which is a... whatever. Anyone else. You all tromp up to the cabin and slip inside, looking around. It's dusty and cobwebbed, and leaves have blown in through the open door, but nothing a good broom sweeping won't fix. So, you clap your hands together. I drove, which means you guys are gonna do the cleanup. I'm gonna take a nap. You thump down on a couch, raising a cloud of dust and a loud creaking sound from the ancient furniture. So yes, this is absolutely Army of Darkness Bruce Campbell. You almost fall asleep right then and there, but the thought of a horror movie icon lurking in this cabin forces your eyes open. Hey, Brenda says, there's a basement. What? You rise and head over to where Brenda is. She's right. There's a trap door on the floor. What do you think is in there? Dunno, Brenda shrugs. You pull on the trapdoor handle, but it doesn't budge. It's locked. Let me try, someone says. Alright, someone, give it a shot. Brenda gives it a try, but she can't get it open any more than you could. You bend down to inspect the door closer. It looks like, over time, the wood has warped, and it's pretty stuck in there. You'll have to use some force to get it open. You think you can hear something from the basement, but you're not sure. From inside the basement. Yeah, it's stuck in there all right. You report. It's probably nothing. Just a stupid basement for stupid people. Are you going to get it open? Brenda asks. Yeah, you'll have to try using a hammer. I'm not using a hammer, Brenda protests. Well, I'm not using any fucking tool. Any tools? You retort. It's my day off. You do the effort thing if you want to. Brenda looks like she's going to argue, but instead just turns around with a huff and go back upstairs. You go over to the trap door. It still doesn't budge. You still think you can hear something from the basement. Something that rots and breathes and moves with eldritch forces. Something you want no part of. Yeah, you say. That's right. You stay closed. No one likes you. In reply, the trapdoor rattles. You jump back, startled, as it shakes on your bolts. Did you? You look at Chris at John. How the hell could we have? Chris says. We're over here. You're over there. We should leave it alone, says... yeah, that's correct, says John, the voice of reason. There's probably a wild animal down there. It could have rabies. You don't think it's a wild animal? Sounds like scratching to you, like fingernails running down a chalkboard. Or what you imagine that would sound like. You don't do horror movies. Which... I mean, you were just dreaming about horror movie things, so that's clearly not true, but you don't do chalkboards. So, let's just say that. Forget it, you announce. Let's relax. Let's have some fun. Let's drink some brewskis and rock out to the radio. That's a good idea, Chris nods along. Brenda rolls her eyes, turning away from you to flip through the songs on the radio. Soon enough, you're all listening to music and drinking beers. You all relax after the long drive and a long week's work. You soon forget about the creepy basement and how the shadows in the room seem to move on your own. Everything's all right. The sun is set, and you... Did they do for lights in there anyway? Like, was the power on in that cabin? Set out some candles to... set some candles out for light. Soon you are tired and ready for bed. Brenda goes to sleep on the sofa, while John and Chris retire to their sleeping bags in the room with the extra beds. The night carries on, and nothing happens. You wake in the middle of the night, with the need to take a piss. You traipse out to the outhouse and do your thing. But in the background, the wind picks up. It sounds like groans or whispers. It's hard for you to piss when someone's watching. So you try to ignore it. You finish your business and head back inside. I was hoping for more. Let me retry that. But no one is watching. Is someone out there? Once you're done, you head back into the cabin and flick on the light. You eye the room, looking for anything out of place. Everything's just about where it should be for a creepy old cabin. You swear you can see something move in the shadows, or pieces of furniture turning as if to watch you. But you can't catch them at it. It could all be in your head. You move into the kitchen with a wary eye. You notice one of the cupboards is open slightly. You swear it wasn't opened before when you went out to the outhouse. You slowly move towards it and grip the handle. You jerk it open and jump back. Aha! You cry as nothing untoward jumps out. Just some canned food. Not even an egregious type of canned food like Spam. You sigh and you start to turn away. Something jumps out from you, jumps out at you from the shadows. It hisses and swipes and growls. And you scream aloud, scrambling backwards. But you realize, after a moment, that it's nothing but a raccoon. It was nothing after all. A raccoon! I'm sorry, little guy. You crouch down and offer your hand. Here, have a pat. The raccoon bites your finger. Hard. And scrambles out of the open window as you clutch your hand. Fuck, you say, standing. You might get rabies is the thing. If that raccoon had rabies, well, you might die. Is that even a raccoon? John stumbles into the room, looking around. What was that? He says. You okay? Yeah, you groan. Fucking raccoon bit me. You find a towel and wrap it around your finger to staunch the bleeding. At your feet, drops of blood sink into the floorboards and drip down into the basement. Well, that's not wrong. I think it's early for that. Let's try something else. Yeah, this is good. You lie in bed that night. Once again, you hear the scratching and scrabblings of raccoons somewhere under the house. You sigh and turn over to try to relax. Your phone buzzes. It's morning. You check your phone. But you have no service. You have a missed call, though. How did that happen? You put it out of your head. It's a new day. And you've got lots of partying to do. Let's party! Your finger throbs, but doesn't hurt too much. You shrug and grab your bag, for whatever reason. There's no one in the living room or the kitchen. You sneak around the cabin, hoping to catch one of your friends in a compromising position. As you creep upstairs, you hear sobbing. Creeping towards the source, you find Brenda in a corner of the bedroom, crying to herself. "What's wrong, baby cakes?" you say to Brenda. "Did you have a bad dream?" Brenda trembles a bit, but whirls around and cracks her knuckles. "Fuck you," she says angrily. "Don't have to ask..." Okay, yeah, that is what it says. "Don't have to ask me twice." You follow Brenda downstairs and suggest that making breakfast would help her feel better. If she makes breakfast. Of course. You've got a couch waiting for your butt. If she doesn't, though, then it's up to her. She's in charge. You try to act all nonchalant, like you're interested in nothing but bacon and eggs. Breakfast is resolved one way or another. While you clean up the cabin enough to make room for yourselves, you regale the teenagers with tales of your glory days. You tell them lots of stories about how awesome you are, hoping to impress them. If you do, maybe they'll fuck off and let you relax. Brenda and Chris seem to be particularly interested, while John seems to be often in his own world. You do your best, you do your smarmy best to cozy up to Brenda, as you're hoping to get a little sugar this weekend. But John's being a real buzzkill. What's wrong? You ask John in a moment of silence. Your head? Yeah, your head's like a million miles away, man. John pauses for a moment before sighing. I was just thinking about my future, he says slowly. Don't think, man. Live in the moment, you say, with a smirk. I wish I could, but I'm scared. What are you scared of? You were in the army. Sure, you got discharged. Do I want him to be discharged, or do I want him to be like, you know what? I'm gonna have him be discharged because I don't really know army terminology enough to describe what I'm thinking of, which is like he's active, but he's like off duty, or he's get some R&R or something, and he goes back home to, you know, say hi to the school chums. Charged, but you still get a pension and all that. Your future is secure as hell. John looks at you with a weary expression. I wasn't talking about that, he says slowly. So what? Are you scared of getting old? You're not even old yet. Look at me. Not that I'm old. You add, I'm young and spry. I've got so many decades ahead of me. I'm nearly younger than you are. You totally aren't. Not that, he says, his voice shaking. I'm scared that... He sighs. I'm scared that I might hurt someone. You can't hurt me, you say. And I don't think you want to hurt anyone else, do you? No, John says. But what? What if I do? You shrug. Probably get therapy. Anyway, no thinking today. Today is for being awesome. You put a beer in John's hand and pressure him to drink it. Beer makes everything go away. It might take that as a command. Alright, let's see how this goes. He almost throws up, but decides to keep it down. Must be the thought of disappointing you that keeps it down. You snicker. Brenda, how much have you drank? Not much. You push the teenagers to drink more. Everyone get drunk. This is party time. Then, you bring out the marijuana. It's double party time. Everyone get high. Eventually, you have a full house. Everyone's drunk or high as a kite. Brenda and Chris are seeing double, while John is just staring into space with glazed eyes. You got the good stuff. You snuggle up to Brenda with hungry eyes. Hey, baby. What say you and I find some privacy, and we do the horizontal mambo? Perfect. Brenda looks at you, frowning. I say, fuck you. You look like my dad. Way to shoot a man down, Brenda. I'm pretty sure I'm shooting the shit out of a horse corpse, sir. Angry pansy. That's not how you talk to your father. Daddy ought to give you a spanking for being a naughty girl. You leer, ignoring that you're nearly old enough. He's not that old. He's not old enough to be your dad. He's just well old enough that you really are way too old to be hitting on a kid like this. If Daddy were here right now, I'd put a bullet between his eyes and make you an Irish widow, she spits. You step back, raising your hands defensively. You'd shoot your daddy, and you'd make me a widow? I'm not your mommy, you say, confusion clouding your mind. Man, you're crazy. It's your loss. You rumble and fish up another beer, staggering out of the room in a huff. I mean, I don't get that. Although I also don't know what Irish widow, what that phrase means, so. Okay, that's shit. I hit enter. That's what happens when you reach for a mouse. Okay, get out of here. Get out of here. Try it again. And now I hit the plus sign as well as the enter. Just cannot win. Alright. You. One more time. No. A minute later, you wake up. It's the middle of the night. You and Brenda weren't bothering anyone, so there's no reason to hit her. Okay. Man, you must have blacked out. That can only mean the party got really good. You shuffle through the cabin and pause for a moment. In the back hall, rusted farm implements are hanging on the walls, and they're rattling like someone's running fingers across the blades and tines. Hello? You call out. Your answer is a baby's wail. That's Brenda and Chris's room. Rushing inside, you freeze as you catch sight of the room. It's in better condition than the rest of the cabin, which is to be expected. Not only are you holding the room in better condition, but the entire what does this even mean? Try that again. Brenda lay sprawled across the bed, sleeping. Her long dark hair is spread out across a straw pillow as her angelic face soothes into a peaceful sleep. You stare at her for a long moment, thinking things you really shouldn't. Maybe, she wouldn't struggle, right? She wouldn't say no to you. You're hot stuff. Viewer, relax. Believe me, it's not going in that direction. I'm just taking cues from horror movies, and we all know what happens in horror movies. You make up your mind and start to step forward, only to jerk upright when you hear John's voice right behind you. What are you doing? Okay. You almost scream, but you stop yourself. Nightmare, you say. He snorts, but he gestures to the bassinet beside the bed. It's currently empty. Check it out. Okay, you say, looking at the bassinet. It's a crib, and it's empty. Hey, I thought I heard a baby whale in here. What's up with that? You hear anything? He stares at you and flips on the light. Brenda, which I guess powers back on, whatever. Brenda starts as the light rushes into her eyes and then glares at the both of you. Maybe they brought a generator. What are you idiots doing? We heard a baby. There's no baby here, Brenda states definitively. Other than this asshole, she adds, looking directly at you. Something woke me up, you say, ignoring your insult. A baby. Brenda shakes her head and snorts. You duck and look under the bed. Of course, there's no baby there. And you straighten up. Let's go find Chris, you say. He's your old partner, you know. Maybe we'll see if... No, he must have heard it. If he hasn't gone deaf from all those death metal bands he listens to. Brenda nods in agreement and stands up, following you out of the room. You quickly find Chris standing in the center of the living room, a shotgun in his hands. Holy shit, that's sick as hell. Where'd you find that? You ask, looking at the shotgun. In one of the cupboards. He nods to a cabinet door lying on the ground. Is it loaded? Maybe you'd better let me have it. For safekeeping. Brenda snorts, pausing as she considers something. You know, I heard something. I told you guys that, you say, annoyed. Sounded like a big cat. Oh, sure. First you say you didn't hear anything, and now you say you heard a cat. You were asleep. Just admit it. You sneer. Chris doesn't look like he's going to hand over the shotgun. But you don't want it anyway. It must be all rusted and stuff. From being in this old cabin. From being abandoned. It's probably not even loaded. I heard it, she protests, and I'm gonna go investigate. Yeah, you go investigate. I'm going to investigate that bed. If you don't want it, I'm going to use it. You start for the bedroom, but Chris stops you. You find a nice deer to roast over the fire. I'm going... What? Like he's gonna go hunting? You give them both a dirty look, then leave the cabin. No, you don't. Get out of here. You turn your back to them and head towards the bedroom. Behind you, you hear a murmur of conversation before the shotgun explodes again. What the fuck was that? You scream and jump and peek back into the living room. And we'll just pretend it didn't say again, because what are you going to do? The double-barrel blast has blown a massive hole in the wall between the kitchen and living room. You stare at it in shock as bits of drywall, wood, and brick bits fall down from the hole. Chris, what the hell was all that about? You say. I think I saw something outside, he says, unfazed by the idea of almost blowing your head off. What? You ask. There was a shadow by the trees. He starts to reach for the shotgun, but John is ahead of you. Snatching it out of Chris's hands, he reloads the shotgun with a stained box of ammunition that must have been in the cupboard. I'm going to check it out, he says to you both. Stay here and wait for me to come back. Brenda nods and sits on the living room chair, staring at nothing. You pick up a random magazine that was left here and start to flick through it, waiting for John to come back. Time passes. The silence grows deafening, and you can hear the raccoons in the basement again. Except they almost sound like they're talking. Sup, Chuck? Or chanting. It's hard to make out. All you know for sure is you don't like it. It's putting you on edge. Where the hell is he? Where the hell is John? You say aloud. Sup, Recon? It could well be a dead man. It's like, we haven't really established the horror yet. Or just, so far it's just been suspense. Who the fuck is Roberts? Get out of here. Should we go look for him? Brenda asks, breaking the silence. Dude's got a shotgun and is hunting shadows. You point out. I don't think that's a good idea. So when I said hello chalk, that was me reducing sweet caramel chocolate down to a single syllable of chalk. Because honestly, saying hello sweet caramel chocolate is really weird and creepy, and I didn't want to do that. Well, what if he's in trouble? You sigh and you nod. Fine, let's go. You head to the door, but you find it locked. Son of a bitch! You curse. What? Brenda says. It's locked, you report. The lock's on the inside, asshole, Brenda points out. Just unlock it. Thank you. Yeah, I'm actually really pleased with how it's going. It's like a lot of times AI Dungeon will jump the gun or not necessarily pick up on cues, but it's been really responsive this session. I can't. It's locked from the inside. Okay, I think... Yeah, I think it didn't pick up on that cue, so... Brenda stomps on your foot, and you hop up and down before realizing she just made a major mistake. Having stomped on your foot She's infringed on your personal space. And that gives you the freedom to retaliate. But you're really not in the mood at the moment. You file that away for later. And unlock the door before creaking it open. Unlock the front door. And looking outside. John? You call out into the night. What's up? I mean, AI has been working out pretty well so far, so it might not. It inevitably will, and that's the nature of the beast. Also, I forgot to remove the scroll bar. Motherfucker. It's always something. Alright. You hear the thudding of heavy boots running towards the door, and you open it to reveal an out-of-breath John. Close the door! Close the door! He pants. You close the door behind him and lock it again, turning to stare at John. What is it? What is it? He stumbles over his words for a moment, trying to find the right words. There are things out there. No, not out there, in the forest, in the trees. What, like raccoons? Crows? You probe. In the past I've watched some anime. Most anime, honestly, just too long these days. And when I say too long, I mean like we're talking dozens, hundreds of episodes. Nobody's got time for that. No, like men. Or something like men. They're in the trees and they've got bows. I barely got away. He looks terrified, and with good reason. They've got bows? You echo, confused. What the fuck? Are they deer hunters? Or what? Look, let's all stay inside and wait for morning. They're not going to think the cabin is full of deer, after all. Deer, or people, hushed a voice from under the stairs. Under the stairs. Hello? Who said that? You ask loudly. Who said that? Over here, the person calls out again. You go to the stairs and find Chris, who hadn't been part of the scene. Huddled there. What's up with you? You ask. Have you been hiding there? The whole time? I've done multiplayer before, yeah. I found that doing the multiplayer with randos online isn't great, just because you don't have, each other to talk to, like over voice or a Discord or something like that. So if I'm streaming, which in this case I am, I end up just waiting through these long-ass silences, not really knowing if they're typing or not, and kind of waiting for them to produce content. And that's just death. Like, I don't think it's a great experience for you, and I know for sure it's not a great experience for me. Listen, those men, they aren't there for the deer. What do you mean? Brenda asks. They hunt humans. How do you know? You say. I know all about it, because it's like that in the album I listened to. He holds up a record. The album is dusty and clearly came from the old cabin. It's titled... appreciate that, Chalk? Maybe sometime. Maybe not right now. Synthetic, the roots of industrial metal. And that talks... what did the lyrics say about human hunters in the woods? You say sarcastically. What did they say about that? Oh, yeah? And what the hell is industrial metal? It's not funny. Listen to the lyrics. Chris scurries over to the old gramophone and cranks it up before putting the vinyl on the platter. I listened to this earlier, he says, but I just thought it was really sweet music. But maybe it's telling the truth. You listen to the record. The lyrics say, that's besides the point. It's like, I'm doing this for me. I appreciate it. I appreciate your interest, but I'm doing this Evil Dead thing, man. 1 minute you are hunting for prey, you hear. And the next, you are the hunted. The man on the record then laughs crazily. And I laugh because I finally get to turn the tables. So he's clearly doing that to music. I'm not going to try doing that. Like, I could put on Doom. It's like for industrial metal. Not sure that would work well for the rest of it, though. Alright. I'll switch back to that. That's really vague and doesn't say anything about hunting prey from the trees with bows, you point out. It could be anybody. No, that's what they were saying, Chris insists. Alright, settle down. You order. Let's all just calm down and wait for morning. Nobody's coming for us in here. Or out there, but especially in here. You add, glancing at the windows, let's just hope those men with the bows are long gone by tomorrow. Peace out. You check the windows once more and then return to the bedroom. In the morning, you head downstairs to the living room. Things look pretty peaceful. You wait for the others to show up, but when they do, they're pale and afraid. What happened? You ask, worried that the men with the bows had returned. Out the window, Brenda says. We saw them out the window. Who? The men with the bows. They're out there, dozens of them. You glance out the window and see a row of pale, terrified faces outside, staring at you through the windows. It's the creepiest sight you've ever seen. Jesus, you say, with a shudder. What do they want? Wait, you say? You know, let's let John say that. I'm not sure they're here for the reasons we think, John says slowly. Okay. Soldier boy, why do you think they're here? You ask him. I think they're here for us, to take us away. What do you... You hear something upstairs. Fuck me, you say. They've climbed in through the upstairs windows. Everybody grab something to defend yourself with. You look longingly at the shotgun, but John has no intention of relinquishing it. And you finally grab an end table instead. That should be an end table. Before starting upstairs behind John. You get to the landing, and he peeks around the corner, then turns to you. They're coming. You ready your chair as Brenda and Chris nervously prepare their own defenses. John rounds the corner with his shotgun, with the shotgun shouldered. You all turn to the windows as they start to shatter one by one. You cry out and shield your face, as do the others. After a moment, you realize no one came in through the windows. They just blew in. And the wind now howls fiercely, with an undertone of rage. The camera zooms in and zooms out and zooms in and zooms out. What? You pull your hands down and look around. Shadows have taken over the whole room, as if some great light is gone, but they're still shaped the way they were before. The doors are rattling in their frames. You feel as if something is coming up the stairs behind you. What the fuck is this? You yell over the noise. We angered nature of our hunting, John yells back, looking around wildly. It's standing up for itself. We pissed off Mother Nature. Well, how do we unpiss off Mother Nature? You yell at John. I didn't do shit to that bitch. We need to do something about this. You think quickly. How do we appease nature? You ask John. Fuck if I know. We need an offering of something. I don't know. Like a human sacrifice? You say without thinking. What? John? Oh, get out of here. Not like Jane said it or something. Okay. John glares at you. What the fuck do you suggest? We could, you think back quickly, renew our efforts to be sustainable. You yell out the window. I'm totally going to recycle from here on out. Nobody answers. We should also cut down on our use of fossil fuels. More silence. And I'll start bringing my canvas bag to the grocery store. In response, the doors blow open with savage crashes. The air is thick, and you can feel the stairs creaking as if under great weights. Whatever's in here with you is not interested in your pleas. Shit, that should be pleased with no E. Well, one E. Alright. No. Correct you. Well, it was worth a shot, you admit. You and the rest are going to have to fight for your lives. Here they come, John yells. The bowmen suddenly crash against the front door, shoving against the rusty lock. You grab the shotgun from John and blast the stairs, popping them loose from the moorings and exposing a yawning gulf to the floor below. In fact, you've exposed I want to say like passage, like stairs to the basement. It was a single unit before, but you've split it into two. What the fuck, man? Pushing the door closed, you turn to find out what else is in your house. Into the basement! Someone cries. It's the only place we can defend. You all climb down to the basement stairs, blockade the door with chunks of wood, and clatter down to the basement itself. It's dark down here, and you have no idea what you're hiding behind. But it's better than being up there with those primitives. This doesn't feel right, John says. We should go upstairs, barricade the first floor, and attack them from the front. You consider this. Fuck that, you say. I'm not going anywhere. You want to go? You go ahead, but leave the shotgun. I'll save a shell to put you out of... Nah, you know what? You go ahead and get killed. Heading up from the basement, you fortify your defenses and arm yourself as best as you can. You know what? Let's try something different. I'm staying too, Chris says. Me too, I'm gonna say. Says Brenda. Take the rear guard then, John says grimly. A silence has fallen over the basements, other than your huddled breathing and the creaks of wood as you shift movement, as you shift uneasily. Whatever's upstairs has gone quiet, but you know it isn't safe. You're trapped down here, trapped in the basement. After a long moment, you start feeling around for a light. John begins. Shut up, you say angrily. I have to look at the damn wiring, don't I? It's a generator, asshole. Brenda snaps. Yeah, you know what? Let's reverse that. Sup, Crabbo? Let's see. How do I put this? Having plugged in the generator to the house wiring yesterday, it's still rumbling and will do so for as long as it has gas, assuming those primitives don't screw with it. But you're not sure the fuses are still intact for the basement. You switch on the flashlight for your app and play it around, getting your first look at the basement. You see 4 piles of rags and bones, and are just retracting in horror when they move and groan. What the fuck is that? You yelp. It's your school, idiots. Okay. Try that again. Alright. It's me, a female voice says. You shine the light in that direction and find yourself staring at a head of long, dirty blonde hair. The head twitches and then twists around 180 degrees. Jaw wildly disjointed and laughing. You're dead! You're going to be dead! You dive away from the flashlight and writhe across the basement, smacking into a wall and falling to the floor. That was far too real to be a recording, even with today's technology. Everyone in the basement has recoiled in horror from the bag of bones as it totters forward, cackling and shedding flakes of fine dust of flesh with every move, with every motion. Dead by dawn! Yeah. Dead by dawn! She creaks. Dead by dawn! Yeah, Skeletor! Skeletor's here! Dead by dawn! Yeah. I will absolutely say, like, I was in Massachusetts before, right? I've moved a couple different times. And I stack ranked the country basically in terms of everything I wanted. And one of the biggest priorities was I did not want humidity. I wanted an arid climate, which is how I ended up in Colorado. Because humidity is hell. It is just the worst. It's like, you are literally warmer in humidity because your sweat doesn't wick, because it doesn't come off your body. And so you don't sweat and you don't cool. And it's just the worst. Unfortunately, of course, I moved to Colorado 2 years ago, and ever since then there has been a fire every summer. So now instead of humidity, I have shitty air quality where I kind of get a little bit sick every time I go outside. Climate change, am I right? Okay, you roll to your knees and aim your shotgun at the thing. I guess I have the shotgun again, which now sits behind a pillar, laughing softly. You blast blindly at the pillar. The bag of bones reels out as you try to reload, and charges and leaps across the room at John, clawed hands outstretched. Ah, I'm gonna get ya! Oh, Automod does not like it. You threatened humidity, bro. I am expressly permitting you to say, go die, to humidity. Yeah. I mean, I told Automod to do this sort of thing. I did not... It's got quite a set of phrases on it. John shoots it once in the head, which unravels like a drop. John doesn't have the shotgun. Let me... Suddenly everybody has guns. Let's try that again. I am on your side. Oh, you're saying Automod should be on your side. Well, the thing is, Automod is on a computer that is kept in a climate-controlled environment. So, unfortunately, Automod does not have to worry about humidity. And it's all like, no, bro, we've got to be centrist about this. John does not have a... Okay, you know what? John is unarmed. There. Maybe not the best for narrative purposes, but I'm just going to very firmly remind it that's the situation. You should help him, or at least distract the monster, but you're too slow. You fumble to reload. Yeah, such is always the nature of filters. The monster hacks John down, clawing and stabbing as he falls to the floor, with blood gurgling in his throat. You crab walk back towards the stairs while Chris crouches, paralyzed with fear. You finally fumble a pair of shells into the shotgun, into the chambers, and shoulder the shotgun, blasting the monster in the back. It does a front flip and plants face first into the floor, sent back to death. Yes, it's got the crab walk. Its body begins to dissipate into hot air like cigarette smoke. Yeah, back to death, it chuckles. The others are too scared to do anything. You numbly check John, but it's far too late. John is dead. The monster killed him. You're not sure how to take that. But now is no time to go to pieces. You make sure the cellar is secure. You put more shotgun rounds into each pile of cloth and bones, making sure they're all dead forever. A motion at the top of the stairs. No. Let's retry that. It's almost randomness rather than anything. Then you help Chris pick up the shells and reload. You swear and you curse, trying to grasp what just happened. After a long while, you're no longer in shock. You've dragged John into the corner where you don't have to look at him. And you're all trying your phones in the hopes that even if you don't have signal, 911 will somehow still work. It doesn't. Nobody is coming. You're trapped down here. Time passes. Let's check the rooms, you say. All right, let's check the basement. You open up wardrobes, furniture drawers, and move furniture. There's no immediate sign of anything that might help you. Maybe it's safe now, Brenda whispers. I don't hear anything from upstairs. No way, argues Chris. Those hunters are out there. They'll cut us down. But I don't want to stay down here, Brenda snaps back. What if more of those things are in here? You feel something scratching at your mind. You sigh. Another monster is poking around in your head. Better find the thing, and fast. You don't really understand it, but you feel like something is watching you from the corner of your eye. You start to follow it through the maze of stacked furniture. The maze stretches on far longer than it should, and you start to feel like you're getting lost. What was I chasing again? Guys, you say, trying to ignore the soft cries of pain coming from somewhere. What? Chris says from a distance. Where are you? You call out, spinning in a circle. Where am I? How can you get lost in a basement? It's impossible space. It's going on for far too long. And you're getting vertigo as you stare down one dark corridor after another. Something is cackling all around you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ah, now you're here. I'll make you hurt. You like hurting, don't you? The laughing thing rushes you and tears into your mind with jagged fingernails, and they're sharp enough to draw blood. You clutch your head, staggering forward and trying to outrun the laughter. It sends you careening down one twisty passageway after another, until you suddenly crash through a wardrobe and fall face first into a clearing of furniture. Everything around you is tinged red, like the whole world spattered in blood. What happened? You gasp. What? I don't even know a good voice for that. Brenda? A voice calls. You can hear Brenda and John somewhere far away. Not John. Chris, somewhere far away. But at the moment, you're alone, and no one is here to save you. Reel upright and grab. Oh, you reel upright and see the monster. You punch it right in the face, and it shatters. It was a mirror. The shards of mirror have slashed up your hand. You're cut. You're bleeding. You look around, seeing the room for what it is. It's not so much a blood-spattered murder room as it is Brenda's bedroom? This can't be right. You're upstairs, which means you've left the basement. But how? You drag the sheet off Brenda's bed and wind it around your bleeding hand, cursing all the while. Finally, you make your way out of the room. Son of a bitch. You curse. Gonna do something bad to you when I get my hands on you, you bony bastards. Out in the corridor, out in the hall, you see some horrible monsters that you... okay, get out of here. That was dumb. No, they're not. You hear the sounds of people laughing and shouting. Brenda, Steve, you call out. Y'all need help? A high-pitched giggle in response. It sounds like a party. The best party ever. But you're not invited to it. You're not invited to it. In fact, they held it and didn't even tell you. They're laughing at you. They're making fun of you. Right now, they're all laughing. Everyone is. Everyone! No, not everyone. See, there's that one girl over there. She's not laughing. Why isn't she laughing? Because she knows you. That's right, you know her. She'll make everything all right. You stumble over to her and turn on the charm. Hey, am I glad to see you? You exhaled shakily. Let's you and me get out of here. Aight? You lean in for a kiss. Needless to say, she isn't charmed by you. In fact, she looks at you like you're a freakish pervert who just groped her. That is perfect, and I'm actually struggling for... You know what? I'm just going to let it continue, because I don't really know what to do as a response. What did you do to my... What did you do to my best friend? She shouts to everyone else at the party. You can't help it. You panic and run. You run raggedly down the hall as laughter and shouts fill the air of accusations. And... I mean, accusations and more accusations. And jokes at your expense. What did you do? She calls out behind you. I know what you did. Everyone knows. Everyone knows. Everyone! Everyone knows! Everyone knows! More laughter and taunts rain down on you. The corridor loops around in a knot, making you disoriented and dizzy. You stagger into what looks like a closet and slam the door behind you. Huddling in the darkness and catching your breath. Your hand hurts like hell. You gradually realize you're not in a closet. You're in Burbank, Illinois. I don't know why Burbank is my go-to. You're in the junk room. The fuck is a junk room? I don't mind the rest of it, but give me something. You're in the foyer. You're in the foyer behind the stairs. All right. No one can see you here. Out of sight and out of mind. You sit in the darkness until your breathing calms down. Then you remember Brenda. Brenda did shoot you down. And she said mean things. But if you rescue her, maybe she'll... I hate myself for saying this. Maybe she'll put out. That's the hero's reward, after all. You psych yourself up and reach for the door handle and get ready. You know, no, it's not reach for that. It's get ready to head for the stairs. Until your hand twitches. You look down at it, and streaks of darkness have chased up your veins. Like a deadly infection seeping in. Flesh bubbles and melts away to reveal the vile veins underneath, throbbing with unnatural power. You raise your shaking hand Suddenly, it clenches a fist. You didn't tell it to do that. You're not in control of your hand. Your hand has been possessed by evil. Not only that, it seems to hate you. Your hand punches you right in the face. I need to open the curtains. One moment. Shoot that. Get back. Still had enough light for face rig to work, but wasn't working out well. You go sprawling to the floor, blood flowing freely from your broken nose. Your hand scratches at you like an animal. You struggle with your own hand. Flopping around on the floor and trying to get a knee on your own wrist. Which is a feat of flexibility. You've never had to try before. Your hand lashes out, slapping you for your efforts, then digging fingers into your eyes and pulling your nose with a cruel tweak. You scream, your nose being broken and all. Yeah, I open curtains. The apartment comes with blinds, but I put up curtains because I want to. Better diffusion of light. But the sun has gone down, so at this point, I'll get better lighting by just opening the curtains entirely. Your hand is strong, really strong. Even as you drive your knee into it, bucking and heaving on it like a madman, it doesn't let go. Weeping openly, you try to twist your hand away by the pressure points between thumb and forefinger. Yes, there is one. No, I do not recommend trying it because, yes, it will hurt. It still doesn't work. With your other hand, you try to punch your possessed hand into submission, but miss and hit your own face again. You wrestle the hand away and pin it against the wall. Snarling, I'm gonna get you, sucker! You bash it against the wall repeatedly, trying to knock some sense into your own hand. Just makes your hand let go, snapping the fragile bone of your wrist. It dangled uselessly on your forearm like a tree branch snapped off by the storm. Crying, you stagger around, looking for a splint before the hand twists up, twists around, and grabs your own crotch. Your evil hand squeezes, and your breath leaves you in a high-pitched whine. You sink to your knees in gut-wrenching pain. If you have not seen Evil Dead 2, this may not make as much sense. But this is actually beautiful. It twists and you yell, smacking your own hand away. It grabs for your crotch again. Stop! Stop! No means yes! The bony cackle in your head echoes. You shouldn't have been wearing that! You were asking for it! You manage to get After some rolling around, you fetch up against a table and manage to twist your own hand around a table leg, pinning it momentarily in place. It flutters around and squirms gruesomely before giving you a firm middle finger.
Do you feel tough? The Phantom Chorus jeers. Cockfights are illegal, you know. Should we call the cops?
My nose! You! You fumble around on top of the table and find... You know, I'm not going to worry too much about it. Meat cleaver that you were using two open beers earlier. Raising it in a shaking hand, you address the evil hand. I'm gonna teach you a lesson. You swear and chop your hand off at the wrist. The evil went into my hand and it got bad, so I lopped it off at the wrist. Takes some doing, but you hack it clean off and throw it down the stairs. There's a thump as it lands a minute later. You still can't get up, though. You wind a cloth around your wrist in a makeshift tourniquet and stand, sniffling and sniveling pitifully. You've just cut off your own hand. That sucked. But you're free of the evil hand now. And just as you think that, looking down the stairs, you see the hands flex, bounce upwards, and scrabble away as if on four fingery legs. It's down there somewhere, waiting for you, waiting to strike. Chill goes up your spine as you realize you'll never be free of the paw. The paw? The monkey paw? You stagger around mindlessly, looking for a new weapon. A claw hammer catches your eye and you pick it up. Armed with a claw hammer, you make your way downstairs, one wary step at a time. If it comes at you, you'll smack it out of the air. You have the reflexes of an outfielder. I don't know. When you get to the bottom of the stairs, you see it. It's 3 steps down from where you're standing, twisted around like a piece of wet spaghetti, beckoning to you with its writhing stumps. With a deep breath, you try to stomp it. London Bridge is falling down, you sing. Your hand lands your foot lands right in the middle of the hand and it squirts out from under you, sending you tumbling. I don't know what the hell it's doing here, but my wife, Mamma Mia, Zim Zim, pop! You scrabble around on the floor and smack wildly at the evil hands with the hammer, punching holes in the woodwork. It bounces out of the way as you rear up and you smash, and and the hammer crashes into the hinges of the trapdoor to the basement, popping the rusty latch open with a jouncy crash. Jouncy shriek of metal. You roll onto your back and throw your legs over your head, laying your feet slap against the trapdoor to stop its descent. Okay. You strain in your precarious position, about to fall down the basement, but you've stopped it. You laugh in shocked awe at how lucky you were, before you spot out of the corner of your eye the evil hand. It's holding a can of rat poison. No, you say warningly. Nuh-uh. No, no, don't you dare. The hand bounces forward and sprays you with foul chemicals. It sprays your face. Coughing and wheezing, you collapse into the basement stairwell and tumble all the way down, painfully cracking your joints on what seems like every single step. You groan in pain and roll onto your back, sending waves of pain through your whole body. Staring up, you see at the top of the basement stairs a figure that looks exactly like Brenda? I'm actually going to change that. Let me make that John? But John is dead. That can't be right. Whoever it is slams the trapdoor down with a malicious smile, light gleaming from perfect teeth. You can hear a scrape as some piece of heavy furniture is dragged over the trapdoor. After taking, you know what? Let's just go with it. After taking a minute to recover, you realize that you're tied to a chair in the basement of a burnt-out cabin in the middle of nowhere. You don't even remember how you got here. What the fuck? You say aloud. Let me go! Who tied me up like this? Who tied me up? I did, says Brenda from behind you, with a shaky voice. Why? This is hardly the time for kinky games, you say. Because after John died, he got up. You might be dead, too. And now you're getting up. I'm not dead, you insist. Prove it, she says. If you're still alive, promise you won't hurt me. I promise I won't hurt you, Brenda, you say with exasperation. No, prove it! She's almost crying now. If you don't let me go, right now I will totally hurt you. You curse. With no actual curse words, but whatever. In fact, ooh. What? You know what? There's no door, so I'm going to take that as my cue to refresh that one. Okay, Brenda says, running into view and cutting off your bindings. Come on, get up, she says, pulling you to your feet. Apparently that is the way to convince somebody that, yes, you're in your right mind. Threaten to abuse them. You stagger around, clutching your severed wrist. What happened to your hand? Brenda says, in detached horror. The evil got into my hand, and it went bad. You tell her. So I lopped it off at the wrist. Genetics? She asks. You nod. It's spreading then, she says. Yeah, it is. Now let's get out of here. You start climbing the stairs. You and Brenda try to muscle open the trap door, but it won't budge. Not even with both of you straining. Where's Chris? You say as you fall back in an exhausted puddle? I don't know, something. Okay. He ran out the basement door when you were missing, Brenda tells you. No, we need to get him. I doubt if he could help us. He's the only one who listened to the full album. Maybe there's something on there that will help us stop all this madness. Which I think is something that Brenda should be saying rather than me, but whatever. Brenda nods and takes your hand. Well, whatever. I think I can budge it if you help, she says. You nod and stand, placing your legs against the wooden trapdoor's frame. You huff and puff, and you heave together. With a crack, the wood gives way, and flies open. Okay. And slams against the concrete floor. You pant and sweat as you see a beam of sunlight pour in from above. Moments later, you both clamber out of the basement. It's morning. How long? It seems like you were only... you must have been out for hours. Yeah, that's good. Been out for hours. Chris? You yell out. Well, Chris, you look around, not sure of who you'll find. Believe Chris is around here somewhere, but apparently so is John. And John is dead. And so is your evil hand. And so are the hunters. You see their bodies. They're strewn. I don't know if I want to keep that. I mean, gore is absolutely part of it, but I'll go with it. You see their bodies. The hunter bodies, clearly. They're strewn about the yard, covered in blood, guts, and vital organs. You feel ill, and you sit down heavily on the porch steps. Brenda comes stumbling out of the house. There were bodies in there. I think it was John's friends. I almost think I'm in the wrong movie. Let's not think about that. You croak. We have to find the record. Did you see... no, she wouldn't have seen anything. Did Chris say anything before he left? Anything at all? Is our music done? Oh yeah, music's done. All right. Brenda nods. I remember the tape you found. Okay. You know what? Again, let's work with it. I remember the tape we found said you should go to the steelworks. I think that's where Chris has gone. You ask Brenda what tape she's talking about, and she tells you that they found a tape recorder in the basement. She plays it for you. Someone else once played the record and unleashed the evil, and they believed they could stop the evil if they went to the steelworks, because that's where they find all the heavy metal. The steelworks are just across the river, outside the cabin. It's worth a try at this point. You both head over to the bridge that goes across the river, and you find Chris sitting on the edge of the bridge. You creep up to him warily, no longer sure if Chris is friend or foe. With your hammer ready, you ask him, "Are you dead?" He looks at you. You took a long time to answer. He stands up. "Are we leaving yet?" Phew. Crisis averted. "Almost," you say. "We have to go to the... Wait, no we don't. Let's just leave. Where's the car?" After some discussion, the three of you agree that Chris is most familiar with the area, so he'll be the one driving. He knows a shortcut through the woods that will get you there quicker. You just have to pray that all the hunters are dead, and that whatever killed them isn't stalking you. You set off through the woods, which seem unnaturally dark even in the bright of day. The ground is muddy and slippery. The going is hard, but you're determined to get the hell out of here. "What happened to your hand?" Chris says. See what AI's opinion of this is. You look at your hand. It's still bleeding slightly, so the bandage is still holding up. Brenda answers for you. His evil twin sister tried to kill him. She was no twin. You take a deep breath. She was a royal bitch. You explained to Chris that your hand was possessed by an evil infection and you chopped it off. It's no less insane than everything else that's happened. We should take a break, John says. I think we'd get a different reaction if that happened. Wow, you really are lame at fighting demons, Chris says as you reach a high road. Brenda tries to change the subject. Do you think someone will follow us? Let them follow us. Let them. You bluster. I'll kick the shit out of them. You find the dirt path and start heading back towards the cabin where your car is parked. that's good. Your tire tracks are still visible, but nothing is driven over them. You keep looking behind you, expecting your half-sister, expecting your evil hand. Or undead John the Baptist to come driving towards you, but there's nobody. It's starting to seem like you'll escape. But as you get within sight of the cabin, the car is missing. No, you spot it. High up in a tree. Something has launched the entire fucking car up into the top of a tree. No one can survive that, and there's not a trace of the driver. The three of you stare silently at the wreckage. It's more than a little depressing. It'll be okay, you reassure them. It's actually 8 for me too. Huh. Oh, you were... Okay, I didn't see your first post. You watched the whole 12 hours? Damn, I don't have that much of an attention span. We'll get out of this. Together. With the power of our friendship. Nothing can stand in our way. Right? You look at Chris. And... only to realize blood is bubbling from his mouth. An arrow. Arrow is poking out of his throat. He's been shot. Quite fatally. He collapses. Chris is dead. They shot Chris. Right. They shot Chris. And that could have been you. You scream. Brenda screams. The hunters scream. From every direction, the hunters come screaming back. The hunt has now turned to you, and you have nowhere to run. You turn and run back to the house. "What are you doing?" cries Brenda as you both slam the door shut. "We can't hide here. It's evil." And that's a good question, so I'm curious what I'll say. You try to think. There's nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. The windows are boarded up, and the door is solid wood and iron. Not really. And also, we've kind of established the windows are not boarded up. Although, maybe we did after the glass broke? Bolt to the door. You'll have to escape with a diversion. Yeah. Remembering the booze you bought, you and Brenda sit down and make a dozen Molotov cocktails, preparing to escape while throwing firebombs every which way. Right, Cat? We're gonna set fire to everything. You hear a roar outside and the smashing of glass. The hunters are trying to smash their way into the cabin. You don't have much time. You throw firebombs at the front door and lurch out the back, scattering fire in your wake. You run out the back door as the cabin is engulfed in flames. You run a few paces before you realize that Brenda isn't with you. Brenda! You turn back and see she's trapped in the cabin. The flames spread too quickly. And now, and her scared face can be seen in a window. For a long moment, Then the bloody face of John comes into view behind her before she's snatched out of view. You hear her scream, a long and terrified scream that is abruptly cut off a moment later. You try not to throw up as fire takes over the cabin. Finally, the cabin falls silent. I'm gonna just remove that last piece because I'm not sticking around. You leave the burning cabin in your wake as you stagger back towards the... what was it called? The steel metal mill? Steelworks. Mealworks. You make it across the bridge. No. You make it to the bridge. And someone is there again. It's Chris. Again. He's dead. But he's upright and grinning, with that damned arrow sticking straight out of his throat. He traces a finger on the point and pouts. No, not digging that out, you say. Oh, no, wait, you say that? Nope, not digging it out, you say, and you push his hand away. He giggles like a little girl and nods. It's quite the fashion statement, don't you think? It's gonna kill him at the rave! He crows. As for me... no. As for you... it's gonna kill you right now! He lunges for you, reaching to wrap his arms around you and jab you with the throat arrow. Yaha! A very impractical weapon! You dodge and run left, leaving him to tumble down the hill, laughing insanely all the while. I think he fell off the bridge. You continue down the road, not daring to look back. You pause to listen, and you hear footsteps ahead of you. You're right in front of the steelworks. Someone's at the door. It's Brenda, burned to a crisp, and clearly dead, but upright and grinning liplessly at you. Hey, baby! You thought I was hot! You had no idea! She smirks. Her throat is gone. She's talking in that hushed, sepulchral tone common to the dead. You feel your sanity slipping as she approaches. You're doomed. You can't burn her. She's already burned, as much as she's going to. But you have to do something. Hey, Brenda, you say. I don't think you've had enough to drink yet. And you smash a vodka bottle over her head. It shatters, and vodka turns her into a slip and slide. Okay, but she's still coming. You're mine now, she rasps and lunges at you. You stagger backwards. Crisp and barbecued undead limbs, hands scratching at your face. She picks you up bodily and slams you against the steel mill's concrete walls.
Now that's a pickup line!
She sneers.
Feel free to use it at the rave tonight!
No amount of intervention short of immediate bullet to the head base camp necromancy is going to save you now. You thump her in the face with your stump. Here's mud in your eye, you scream, as blood gets into her eyeless sockets. Well, into her eyes. Because, of course, the actor's eyes would be showing through the makeup, so, yeah, you know. She staggers back, and you manage to grab a fire extinguisher from the wall and smash it into her face. That would kill most people. It just seems to piss her off. Let's see.
Stop playing hard to get!
She taunts.
You know you want me.
And with that, she scratches through your pants and grabs your crotch. Well, since you're about to die regardless of whether you keep fighting or run like a coward, you decide to go out with a bang. Alright, good start, but...
Hey Mom, look what I caught!
Brenda cackles. You go limp and she drops you in surprise. That part doesn't work. I need something else here. Okay, no. Wrong person. You hear a dozen monstrous voices laughing in the background as a clip plays. You're quite dead. But you decided to go out with a bang. And so, you do. You pick up, you dig your lighter out of your pocket, click it on, and set fire to her vodka-soaked skin. It's best if you burn her remains completely. It's not going to be a single drop of that vodka left in that building. You stand by the burnt-out shell where the bottle used to be. Okay. It clearly didn't get it. Let's see. Okay. You know what? Let's back it up. Alright. Do something with this. She screams as she burns. You laugh maniacally as she runs around screaming how much she loves you. She dies howling in the fiery inferno. You didn't think that would work, and you're glad to be wrong. You pick up the fire extinguisher as your only remaining weapon and batter your way into the steelworks. Inside is a decrepit steel mill, but someone has been using it as the host for a rave. Up on a makeshift stage is a severely awesome satanic ritual setup, complete with a statue of the devil, complete with graffiti of the devil, and a pentagram, which is glowing with evil light. You found the source of the evil. You walk in through the front door and see a dozen scenes of horrific animal and people sacrifices being performed. Clearly, this is a place of great evil. Have I said the word evil enough times? And you have to put a stop to it. But how? You look around for the album Chris played. Spot a DJ booth and head over to see if they've got a copy. You need something that can counteract this great evil. There's no CDs here, just a looping soundtrack over the PA system and a VHS tape. You plug the VHS tape into a tape deck and play it, watching the TV. It's the darkest Disney movie ever made. A young girl is locked in a tower by an evil witch. The girl stupidly waits around for a dude to rescue her. He never does, and she dies old and alone. Her ghost haunts the place and torments others, and torments the living. From there on out. That's how monster myths are made, kids. You turn off the TV tape just as the witch throws the young girl from a tower.
Pretty rad, huh? I got sick airtime from that.
You spin around and see Chris behind you. He climbed up the hill and followed you here. And John is here too. Crispy and baked, but still grinning like a loon. 2 deadites. Oh, shit. Sad enter key. You know what? That actually works, so I'm going to have this. You're really on their side? You ask, genuinely confused.
I got the lowest minion rank, guys.
Chris shrugs.
Preparing the way for chief. I'm gonna be a general, John brags. This is a cool place,
Chris says in excitement. They high-five. You grab the TV and smash it over John's head, scrambling over the counter as he staggers back. You try to smash his head, but he catches a TV and he flings it aside. He throws a punch you don't quite dodge, knocking you into a wall. I'm coming up with these lines on the fly is, well, it's a challenge.
Time to pull a train!
John calls out and gut checks you through the wall with a chugga-chugga sound.
Chugga 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 choo choo!
You crash into the room beyond in a shower of concrete dust, coughing and dragging yourself up. In here is a giant pentagram and several railroad carts, 2 of which contain foul, steam, and ants, which sounds like a Dark Souls parody.
You guys miss me?
Chris asks, standing around his chopped up corpse in the pentagram. You know what, I'm going to say Brenda. Standing around her chopped up corpse in the pentagram. All 3 of them are here. They keep coming back. You're doomed. You're dead. But not before they are. You scramble around behind a railroad cart and heave it forward, trying to send it crashing into the pentagram. But your weak little clerk arms aren't up to the task of moving all that metal. It bumps the pentagram and stops, leaving you very exposed as the three harbingers of destruction lurch forward. You little shit, Ant growls. You led them straight to us.
Aw, come on!
John says.
He's just a washed up retail fuck. He can't do anything right.
Your boys rush forward as you drag yourself up. Brenda stretches out a hand and sends you flying with a smack.
Where do you think you're going?
She asks. You look around frantically, spot a lever, and give it a kick. A gear crashes and clatters as a length of chain sweeps across the room and snaps Brenda up into the air by her foot. Let's hang out, you yell up at her.
I don't understand, nerd! John laments. We gave you so much! A chance for greatness, a way out of the anonymity you suffered through!
You gaze up at Brenda pitifully. I'm not a nerd. You snivel. You're the nerd. You wear glasses, Four Eyes.
No, you're the Four Eyes,
John cries. That's school smarts, not real smarts. Brenda flails impotently as Ant and John close in on you. Ant is clearly some kind of greater demon. Foulstein is just kind of hanging in the back, content to be a fat blob. You know what? Let's put that in there. Foulstein is a fat blob. Foulstein and Ant are both demons. Foulstein is a fat blob of flesh slopping around inside a railroad cart. Ant is a skeletal, thin wraith stalking towards you with clawed hands. John and Chris are both deadites, zombies with attitude. You're vastly outnumbered, but you have something they don't. You have... Alright, let's autocomplete that, because again, it's like, I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. You have the key to the jail cell. Okay, there was apparently an important key. You duck down and scramble toward where you saw the key, John giving a little giggle.
Naughty, naughty!
It was part of the dark Disney movie. The key to the tower. And you saw that same key up on the altar. You swipe it off the floor and hold it up.
One more step, and I smash this.
You threaten.
Whatever do you mean, Mr. Matthews? What's this then? John asks.
Who the fuck is Mr. Matthews? It's probably forgotten my last name. You realize you can't smash a key. That's just not how it works. But they did seem taken aback for a moment when you picked it up.
Aha!
You say, tentatively.
That's right. I've got the key.
You don't like that, do you? You just have to figure out what to do with it. Well, keys go in locks. You snap around and try to spot a lock somewhere in the steelworks. There doesn't seem to be a good place for a lock up here, though. It must be in some kind of tower. You run from the assorted demons and deadites, crashing upstairs and clattering along rusted catwalks, for bursting out into the open and tottering across the roof. There's a water tower up ahead. It's the closest thing. You make way for the water tower. Where is it? You know they've been up here, so you have to... It's a little late in the story for that. This is pathetic, Ant growls, stomping along after you. Got any better ideas? You bark back at him, already gasping for breath. You stop moving, and I kill you, and eat your flesh. Ant offers. You try the key in the lock. Nothing happens. Ant yanks it out of your hand and tosses it over the side of the water tower, then saunters towards you. You look around desperately. So you've climbed up the ladder to the water tower, you were right there at the door, and the key didn't work. So now the sun is probably setting again to make it super dramatic and exciting, just kind of silhouetting you and the skeletal wraith up the top of that water tower. The fat blob can't make it through the stairs, and the deadites are either shambling around or made way for the big evil of ants. Let's see here. Then you remember the one thing you have that... You've forgotten one thing. You tell Ant, bluffing like mad. Without me, you're all doomed. Oh no, there's a big meeting later. We're all going to decide what to do with you, Ant tells you. John arches an eyebrow curiously. John, Brenda, Chris, and Chris are all at the bottom of the ladder to the water tower. What? They're watching this big moment where their demon boss, Ant, takes pleasure in personally ripping you apart. And that means you've got a moment to save your own skin. Oh, a meeting. you say. So I guess... What the fuck was that? Oh, well, okay. Well, let's see what it says. Yeah. What the fat... That fat bastard? That fast bastard isn't invited. Referring to the morbidly obese Faulstein. Oh, it didn't go. Okay, keep going. Brenda giggles. He's not invited to many meetings, she says. But what difference does it make? You won't escape. Yeah, I bet he isn't. You agree? A fat fuck like that? You'll pick him last? For Demon Dodgeball every time. Unless he's the net. Dodgeball. Ant growls, annoyed at being relegated to a sports metaphor. Sure, you ramble. Haha. He's such an embarrassment, right? Has his own zip code. Needs a crane to get out of bed. Washes his back with a stick. Who wants someone like that at the party? Take the bait, take the bait. Ant snarls and takes another step towards you. Brenda, Chris, John, tell me, who do you want at the party? Fat bastard, the demons chorus in unison. You'd previously seen a 16-foot drop-off behind Ant. You take advantage of his distraction to dart the edge and look down. It's not really paying off the way I was imagining. So I'm just going to force it. Faulstein is there and royally pissed off at the insults. He reaches up with a giant webbed hand, wraps around the supports of the water tower, and pulls it down with a twisted screech of metal, toppling the whole thing over and sending both you and Ant, over the edge, clutching at the railing above a long fall. Ant grabs your neck in a vice-like grip and hoists you up over the railing to dangle above certain death as you pound on his hands in futility. You strangle and choke at the end of his hands, kicking and squirming. Your bloodshot eyes are on the bulging metal of the what the hell is it called? It's not a canister. It's like, I think it is a cistern, actually. A cistern. Starting to give way under the pressure of the leaning tower. Just a little more. Fatty, you croak in Faulstein's direction, taunting him one last time. Yeah, the editors will sex us up. You know, that they'll come up with better lines. Perfect. Faustine jabs at the base of the tower with a finger. It folds over like an umbrella caught in the wind. You go tumbling head over heels to the earth. But as you fall, you see the tower wrench open. And with the tower opened, and the moment the tower opens, the air fills with an unearthly scream of despair and vengeance. No! Because now that the tower is opened, the Disney princess is free. Sure enough, you see a withered skeleton inside. The corpse of a long abandoned girl. But she's free now. She's no longer trapped. And that means the ghost no longer has unresolved business. The curse is lifted. The evil is gone. The demons and deadites, the demons scream as they begin to evaporate. And the deadites crumble instantly to dust. You land in the dissolving body of Faustine and slide down the slip and slide sludge pile to the ground, safe and sound, if covered in disgusting demon goo. Everything is peaceful. The deadite trees and evil spirits vanish in puffs of smoke. The forest is silent and still. It's finally over. With the sun rising, you stagger, what mansion? Towards the cabin. The tree must have also been a demon or something, as the car is now on the ground. You get into the car and turn the engine over, picking out music tiredly for the long journey home. Getting ready to depart, you adjust the rear view mirror. And when you do so, you see the evil hand is in the back seat and lunging for your neck. And you know what? I'm not even going to ask for a response because that is clearly the end. That is the stinger. That is the moment where it immediately cuts to black and the credits are going to roll and you're going to get some probably inappropriate either instrumental from the score or piece of rock music. That is the game. Top 10 clever lines said by deadite friends of yours. Number 10. Because I'm not going to get many opportunities to use this voice. The opening to my home dimension's a lot like an interdimensional top elites club, except the only way in is a ... You know, you look a lot like my anatomy projector back in Surreal University. Nyah! Nyah! Dude, I'd watch out. My grandmother was an old witch of the night, and she had a few things to say about hunters. Man, I'm fucking loaded! Can you take me back to my dorm? I had a few hits of acid! Dude, I didn't know you could play! That was a full performance of the Devil's Interval Sonata! By the way, do you know where I can get some devil's lettuce? Number 6 again.
Do you think the Pilgrims cooked and served the Native Americans at the first Thanksgiving dinner? Now that's history! Yeah! Absolutely! You just won yourself a free complimentary piece of the devil's skin for your shoe! Marrying a mannequin is as stupid a mistake as hitchhiking on a lonely country road in Maine! You absolute incompetent! Do you have change for the afterlife? Lead! I feel lead! I've never felt so alive! You think heaven is a reward for your actions? Have you learned nothing from The Giver?
Wasn't The Giver like one of those books everybody had to read when they were young? Like a semi-post-apocalyptic thing? I don't know. Whew! That's good for my throat. Alright, something I don't have to do. Okay, top 10. Top 10 songs released by heavy metal bands. The song titles released by the devil in a heavy metal band form. Number 10. I feel like that's a bad number 1, but you know what? I got 2 number 6s, so it evens out. I am the devil, and you are mine in hell, like actually. Kiss the skull of 1,000 deadites. Kiss the demonic skirt of the undead. Bone to be the king of hell. I wonder if I was meant to be born and it just kind of switched over. Hey man, smell you later, if you are still alive. Vengeful demon children having sex with your girlfriend in your body while you are asleep. Metal storm of the hell demons. Oh yeah, there's no longer enough ambient light for the cam to actually pick up, so for the most part you're only seeing the mic activate, but whatever. Oh dear. You know what? I'm actually going to refresh that. Let's not get those lines on record. X. Wait, that's just what I used to kill your unborn child. Boom! You can't touch this! And the number 1 song title released by the devil in a heavy metal band form, Your Mother Sucks! What did you expect Satan to say? You're so proud of yourself. Hell has been defeated. The world is saved. You're a winner and a hero. Who knows what else the future holds for you? One thing's for sure, it's going to be great. Right. There's... Well, I was going to round off... Oh, right, it's under sci-fantasy, that's why. I'm trying to find a certain theme... There it is. Thank you all for joining. The devil has been defeated. The evil has been defeated. Or has it? One thing's for sure. The future is going to be great.